The agent's edge, an operating manual for success. Every profession has its tools, every craft has its secrets, and every high performer, every agent who consistently rises above the noise, runs on an internal system most people never learn to master. Today you're getting the mile, not for sales scripts, not for product knowledge, but for the operating system that runs everything else. Your mind, your decisions, your learning, your head. This isn't motivation, this isn't mindset fluff. This is the science of how your brain actually works. Why you act the way you do, why clients decide the way they do, and how to reprogram the loops, the biases and the habits that have been running in the background your whole life. What you're about to learn will change the way you train, the way you think, the way you communicate, and the way you grow. You're gonna see the bugs in your system and learn how to debug them. You're gonna learn the upgrades that make skills stick, and the daily loop that turns progress into mastery. By the end of this training, you won't just understand yourself better, you'll operate at a level most agents never reach. This is your edge, this is your system, and it starts right now. Inside every agent, there are two engines running the mind, two cores side by side, powering every decision you make. The first is fast, instinctive, emotional system one. It leaps before it looks, firing off quick answers that feel right. Even when they're miles off the mark, it's efficient, but it's riddled with shortcuts that twist your perception. Then there's the second engine, slower, heavier, deliberate system too. It doesn't rush, it doesn't guess, it analyzes questions, breaks problems apart and puts them back together with clarity. It's the part of you that sees truth beneath the noise, but it takes energy, and most people don't engage it unless they must. Think of the bat and ball riddle, your instinct shout 10 cents without hesitation, that's system one. Loud and confident and wrong, but when you pause, breathe and let system two step forward, the real answer rises 5 cents. The difference between guessing and knowing, between reacting and deciding, between average performance and mastery, is choosing which system to use. And when the successful agent doesn't just think, they select the right engine for the moment. Your mind is powerful, but power means nothing without control. Your reality isn't random. It's coded, line by line, in a constant feedback loop, running inside your mind. At the top of that loop sit your thoughts, the quiet stories you whisper to yourself. My boss thinks I'm incompetent, I'm not good enough. This day is gonna beat me. Those thoughts don't stay thoughts, they spark emotion, anxiety, frustration, anger, the heavy feelings that tighten your chest and cloud your judgment. And when emotion takes the wheel, your behavior follows, avoiding hard calls, procrastinating, hesitating, when the moment needs strength. Then the worst part, those behaviors feed the original thought. You avoid the call, and the mind says, see, I told you you can't handle this. And the cycle grows stronger. But here's the truth, every great agent must understand, this loop is in the prison. It's a program, and programs can be rewritten. Change the thought, and the emotion shifts with it. Change the emotion, and the behavior becomes lighter. Change the behavior even once, and the thought begins to crack open. This is the engine of cognitive behavioral training, the idea that you don't have to fix everything at once. You only have to interrupt the loop, one small shift, one different choice, one moment of awareness. Your reality is not fixed, your performance is not predetermined. You have the power to rewrite the code, and when you do, the loop starts working for you instead of against you.
Every mind, no matter how sharp, no matter how seasoned, ships with bugs in the code, they're called biases. And they don't appear because you're careless or flawed. They appear because your brain is built for speed, not precision. It takes shortcuts, guesses, leaps, trying to make sense of the world with as little energy as possible. These shortcuts help you move fast, but they twist the truth. They steer your judgment, they whisper in your ear before you even realize you're listening. And then there's the worst bug of them all, the meta bug, the bias blind spot, the part of you that sees everyone else's errors with perfect clarity, while your own hide in the shadows. You think they're emotional, they're rational, they're not seeing clearly, but your mind never turns the lens back on itself. Real mastery begins when you recognize this simple truth. You are not immune to bias, you never were, but you can learn to see the bugs, name them and update the system. The great agent isn't the one who thinks they think perfectly. The great agent is the one who hunts their own blind spots and patches their code before it costs them the day.
Your mind searches for truth, but not in the way you think. The first high-impact bug in your mental operating system hides inside the way you look for information and the way you remember it. The first bug is confirmation bias. It's the filter you didn't choose, but the one you carry everywhere. It scans the world not for what's true, but for what matches the beliefs you already hold. Think a client won't buy? You notice every sign that proves you right. Think a product doesn't work? You overlook every example that shows it does. Think you're not good enough? Your mind will dig for proof until you believe it. And then comes the second bug, the misinformation effect. Your memory is not a video recording. It's a living file, editable, fragile, influenced by every moment that comes after the event itself. A single word, a tone, a feeling, and suddenly your memory shifts. You recall the call as worse than it was. You imagine reactions that never happened. You judge yourself on a story that's been rewritten without your permission. These two bugs working together shape the world you think you're seeing. They decide what you notice and what you forget. And unless you step in, unless you slow down and question the code, the bugs will steer your decisions, your confidence, and your results. The master agent doesn't just train their mind, they debug it. They question their assumptions, they challenge their memories. They refuse to let old stories guide today's performance, because when you take control of what you search for and what you choose to remember, you take control of your reality.
Your mind doesn't just search and remember imperfectly. It calculates value imperfectly too. The second high-impact bug in your operating system twists how you judge cost, worth, and future possibility. Two flaws hidden in plain sight, steering your decisions long before you know they're there. The first is anchoring. The moment you hear the very first number, the first offer, the first impression, your judgment becomes chained to it. You compare everything to that initial point, even when it has nothing to do with reality. A client hears a bad plan from a competitor, and suddenly your better option looks expensive. You hear one objection early in a call, and suddenly the whole conversation feels hostile. That first moment becomes the anchor, and the mind drifts with it. Then comes the second flaw, the sunk cost fallacy. This is the glitch that convinces you to keep investing in something simply because you've already invested. You stay on dead leads because you've spent too much time to quit now. You cling to old habits because you practiced them for years. You pour energy into a failing strategy because starting fresh feels like losing. But the truth is harsh and liberating. Past effort is not a reason to continue. Only future value should decide your next move. Look at the Berlin airport, billions lost because leaders couldn't walk away from the money they'd already thrown into the fire. Agents fall into the same trap every day on calls and goals in life. Real mastery is choosing clarity over comfort, letting go of anchors that distort your judgment, cutting the chains of sunk costs that drag you backward. When you stop honoring the past more than the future, you finally step into decisions that move you forward.
Your mind learns by default the same way. Your phone comes out of the box, set to easy mode, smooth, comfortable, and completely inefficient. Most people study by highlighting, underlining, or rereading the same lines again and again. It feels productive. It feels familiar. But that feeling is a trick. It's the illusion of knowing. Your brain confuses familiarity with mastery, and so you convince yourself you've learned something, right up until the moment you have to use it under pressure, on a call with a client, or when the day hits you hard. And that's when the illusion breaks. Real learning requires friction. It requires active effort. It requires stepping out of comfort and into challenge, testing yourself, pulling information from memory instead of letting your eyes pass over it, spacing your practice over days instead of cramming it all into one exhausted night, mixing topics, interleaving, so your mind becomes flexible instead of rigid. These techniques feel harder, heavier, less fluent, but that difficulty is not a problem. It's the signal you're doing it right. It means the brain is rewriting itself, forging knowledge that lasts, knowledge that holds steady when the pressure rises. And you need the right answer now, not later. Stop using the default settings. Upgrade the way you learn. Because the agent who trains with intention is the agent who performs with power.
Most people think learning is about pouring information into the mind. Reading more, reviewing more, stacking words on top of words like bricks in a wall. But real learning doesn't happen when information goes in. It happens when information comes out. Retrieval is a superpower. Every time you force your brain to reach back, to pull knowledge from memory instead of glancing at a page, the memory grows stronger, like a muscle under strain. This is the testing effect. This is active recall. This is how mastery is built. Look at the chart. Two groups study the same material. One reads it twice. The easy path, the familiar path, the illusion of progress. The other reads once, and then tests themselves. Days pass, a week passes, and the difference becomes undeniable. The group that tested themselves retained over 50% more knowledge, not because they worked harder, but because they worked smarter. Reading feels smooth, but smooth learning slides out of the mind. Retrieval feels difficult, but difficulty is the forge where strong knowledge is made. For an agent, this is everything. When the client asks a question, when the objection hits, when the pressure rises, you don't get to look at your notes. Your mind must retrieve the answer in real time. So train the way you perform. Don't just read the script, speak it from memory. Don't just study the product, recall it without looking. Don't just learn, retrieve. Because the agent who practices pulling knowledge out is the agent who never fears the moment they need it.
Mastery doesn't come from talent. It comes from timing. The way you schedule your practice shapes the strength of your skill more than the hours you put in. Two patterns of training decide whether your abilities fade or become unshakable. The first is spacing. Cramming feels powerful in the moment, fast, intense, heroic. But it wins only the battle, never the war. True learning happens over days, not hours. Memory consolidates during rest, especially sleep. That's why surgical residents who trained once a week outperform those who tried to jam everything into one exhausting session. Spacing turns knowledge into something that survives time. Then there's interleaving. The art of mixing your practice. Block practice. AABBBCCC feels comfortable. You feel smooth, you feel competent. But the knowledge becomes brittle, locked into one narrow context. Real life isn't blocked, real calls aren't predictable. Clients jump from objections to benefits to pricing to doubt and back again. Interleaving ABC, BCA, CAB feels messy, harder, less fluent. And that's exactly why it works. It forces your brain to adapt, to stay alert, to connect ideas across contexts. In the studies, the interleaved learners performed 3 times better a week later, even though they struggled more during practice. Struggle is not a sign of weakness. It's the sign of a mind growing stronger. When you space your training, you build durability. When you interleave your practice, you build flexibility. Together, they turn you into an agent who can think in motion, adapt under pressure, and meet any moment with confidence. Master your calendar, and you will master your craft.
Every great communicator, every agent who can move a conversation, shift a mind or close a deal, follows a process, not luck, not charm, a process, and that process is AC. Analyze, craft, edit. First you analyze, you change your lens, you stop asking, what do I want to say? And start asking, what does my audience need to hear? You look at the person in front of you, client, teammate, leader, and you ask, what do they know already? What don't they know yet? What outcome am I trying to build with them? From that clarity, you write a single sentence, your purpose statement, one line that defines your North Star. Then you craft. This is the stage where you silence the critic. You turn off the grammar checker, the spell checker, the voice in your head that says, is this perfect? Creation is not perfection. Creation is flow. You write freely without judgment, your purpose, your ideas, your facts. You build the body of your message first, then the conclusion. Only after it all exists do you write the introduction, because now you know exactly where you're going. And finally you edit. This is where the message becomes sharp, systematic, professional. You refine for organization, does it flow? For clarity and consciousness, can this be cleaner, tighter, stronger? For word choice, am I saying it with power or with clutter? And then grammar and punctuation, the polish that makes your message shine. Reading it out loud exposes every awkward phrase, every stumble, every place where the mind hesitates. This is the algorithm for an impactful communication. Not talent, not instinct, process. Analyze with intention, craft with freedom, edit with discipline. Follow ACE, and every message you deliver will land with purpose.
Indecision doesn't come from confusion. It comes from fear. Your mind weighs the cost of change against the comfort of staying the same. And when the scales aren't clear, you freeze. The loop spins, the moment passes, and nothing moves. But indecision can be debugged. There's a framework for it, simple, honest, powerful. It's called decisional balance. 4 quadrants, 4 truths, no hiding, no excuses. First you face the pros of changing, what you gain, what opens, what grows if you step forward. Then the cons of changing, the effort, the discomfort, the price you pay to evolve. Next, the pros of staying the same, the safety, the familiarity, the ease of doing nothing. And finally the cons of staying the same, the cost of stagnation, the opportunities lost, the slow erosion of potential. When you write them down side by side, the truth becomes visible, not emotional, not imagined, visible. And here's the heart of it. Research shows we don't change until the weight of the benefits of change finally outweighs the comfort of the status quo. This exercise forces the calculation into the light. It turns emotion into clarity. It turns hesitation into direction. You can't control every fear, but you can confront every choice, debug the paralysis, lay out the 4 quadrants,
Let the truth speak louder than the doubt. When the scales are clear, your next step becomes impossible to ignore.
Your mindset is the master program, the hidden code beneath every choice you make. Long before you speak, before you act, before you try, your mind has already decided what's possible. Some agents run on a fixed mindset, a brain locked in a box, a belief that intelligence is static, talent predetermined, ability carved in stone. When challenge arrives, their first thought whispers, "I'm bad at this." And that belief becomes a cage. They avoid the hard things. They retreat when it gets uncomfortable. They quit before growth has a chance to take root. But others, they run on a different operating system. The growth mindset, a brain in motion, arrows breaking outward. A belief that intelligence can be developed, talent can be built, and effort is the forge where new ability is hammered into shape. Their voice says, "I'm not good at this yet." And that word "yet" opens a door. Suddenly challenge becomes opportunity. Mistakes become information. Practice becomes progress. And every failure is just a stepping stone toward mastery. The agents who rise in this industry aren't the ones born with the most talent. They're the ones who believe they can grow, who embrace the struggle, who choose to get better, even when it's hard, even when they stumble, even when the doubt creeps in. Mindset isn't a slogan, it's the program running your entire life, updated, and everything else begins to change.
Mastery isn't built in a moment, it's built in a cycle, a daily loop that upgrades your thinking the same way a system patches its code. You don't rise by accident, you rise by running this process every day. It begins with capture. You take hold of the moment that challenged you, the tough call, a spike of emotion, the automatic thought that grabbed the wheel. You write it down, even in a sentence or two, because what you don't capture disappears, and what disappears can't be improved. Then you analyze, here you shine a light on the pattern beneath the moment. Was it a cognitive loop, thought to emotion to behavior?
Was it a bias sneaking in, anchoring you, blinding you, misleading you? You name it. 'Cause once you name the pattern, mastery isn't built in a moment. It's built in a cycle, a daily loop that upgrades your thinking the same way a system patches its code. You don't rise by accident. You rise by running this process every day. It begins with capture. You take hold of the moment that challenged you, the tough call, a spike of emotion, the automatic thought that grabbed the wheel. You write it down, even in a sentence or two, because what you don't capture disappears, and what disappears can't be improved. Then you analyze, here you shine a light on the pattern beneath the moment. Was it a cognitive loop, thought to emotion to behavior? Was it a bias sneaking in, anchoring you, blinding you, misleading you? You name it. 'Cause once you name the pattern loses power. Next comes deploy. This is where change becomes real. You choose a tool before the next moment arrives. Maybe it's the decisional balance sheet, maybe it's AC, maybe it's a mindset shift you've been practicing. You don't wait for instinct, you don't hope for luck. You deploy the tool on purpose, like a craftsman choosing the right instrument for the job, and finally you reflect. At the end of the day, you look back with honesty. What did I learn? What worked? What stumbled? What new skill am I installing into my mind? Reflection is where the brain rewires, where today's lesson becomes tomorrow's strength. Capture, analyze, deploy, reflect. Run this loop every day. Don't just improve, you evolve.
Your edge isn't luck, it isn't talent, it isn't some secret spark other people were born with. Your edge is a system, a way of thinking, sharpening and upgrading yourself that you run every single day. It begins with knowing your OS, understanding the dance between your fast, instinctive system 1 and your slow, deliberate system 2, seeing how your thoughts trigger emotions, how emotions drive behavior, and how that loop quietly writes the code of your reality. When you know your OS, you stop living on autopilot. You start choosing your responses instead of being ruled by them. Then comes debugging relentlessly. The most effective agents aren't the ones who believe they're always right. They're the ones who assume their thinking is bugs and go hunting for them with honesty and courage. Confirmation bias, anchoring, sunk cost, memory distortion. Each bug you expose sharpens your perception.
and each one you fix gives you an edge no one else can see. And finally, upgrading deliberately. Mastery isn't born from intensity, it's built from consistency. You install new tools on purpose, active recall, spaced practice, interleaving, ACE for communication, decisional balance for clarity. The daily diagnostic loop for growth, every upgrade compounds, every repetition strengthens the system, and slowly, day by day, you become the agent who outgrows the rest. Your edge isn't a secret, it's a system. Know your OS, debug relentlessly, upgrade deliberately. Run that system faithfully, and there's no limit to who you can become.
Every system has a moment where talk ends and execution begins. This is that moment you've learned the architecture of your mind, the bugs in your code, and the tools that upgrade your performance. Now you boot the system and execute. You learn that your mind runs on a dual-core processor, fast intuition and slow deliberation. And the real skill is knowing which one to trust and when. You learn the feedback loop that codes your reality, your thoughts shaping emotions, your emotions shaping behaviors, and those behaviors shaping your entire day. You uncovered the bugs, confirmation bias, anchoring sunk cost, the misinformation effect, not flaws in character, but shortcuts the brain uses that pull you off course. And you learn the meta bug, the blind spot that hides your own errors from you. The best agents aren't the ones without bugs, they're the ones who can see them. You learn the upgrades, active recall, spaced practice, interleaving, the methods that feel harder in the moment, but build mastery that actually lasts. You learn the AC process, analyze what your audience needs, craft without fear, edit with discipline, the algorithm for clear and powerful communication. You learn the tools to break paralysis, decisional balance, the quadrant map that turns fear into clarity and reveals the true cost of staying the same. You learn the truth about mindset, that talent is not fixed, that ability is not permanent, and the single word yet can rewrite your future. And you learn the daily diagnostic loop, capture the moment, analyze the pattern, deploy the right tool, reflect to integrate the lesson. Run it day after day and you evolve faster than your challenges. Finally, you learn that your edge isn't a mystery, it's a system. Know your OS, debug relentlessly, upgrade deliberately. Now it's time, boot the system, execute the process, and step into the version of yourself that's been waiting on the other side of this work.